Hi, welcome to an introduction on using Excel if you've never used it before. Just a few things that will help you at least get started. Each one of these items down here is referred to as a cell, and this cell right here is A1, while this cell right over here would be referred to as D4. So that just gives you an idea of reference points for these later on. Another thing that would help you is you can actually highlight, I'm just clicking and dragging A1 through D1, and I can then merge these cells. If I can spell right, that should say budget. And that allows us to know that this, it's kind of like for titles or themes, you can actually merge cells for any way that you want. You can also merge cells in different ways going up and down on the column. So I'll undo that and come back up here. Now a few other features that would be helpful is I'm going to put a few items, let's say tithing, food, clothing. And so on each one of those you can put itemized items, and then on the other side you can put prices. Let's say tithing, I pay $500 a month. And you'll notice that it actually highlighted that into money. Sometimes if I come over here and do that, it didn't highlight that. So you can actually select the column, right click, format cells, and inside here you can actually change what will be representing that cell. In this case I'm going to say currency. And it will have 2 decimal places for the cents, and we'll keep the currency. It currently says none, but I can just change that to a dollar sign and push OK. So that means all of the values on C that I just selected will now have those currencies. So even if I type in 25 and push enter, it'll convert that into a money format, currency format. So a few other things, I can come down here and say 120, and clothing will say 36. And so then whatever your case may be, actually food probably more represent about 800. And I'm going to then come down here at the bottom and say here is my expenses. And you can just make that bold by selecting the bold or italicized to change the formatting. You can actually change a whole bunch with some coloring and other stuff like that and themes, but if you're just getting started, you can black and white works fine. Now I'm going to push equal sign. What that allows me to do is enter a formula or some sort of calculation. I can then select, now this is C3 up here, and that's the $500, so I can put C3 and then put plus. So that's referring to that reference point of C3 cell. And now I want to refer to C4, so I push C4 plus C5 and push equal sign. What that did is it summed those up. Now this is what we call a responsive, or it allows us to be dynamic. So if I come up here and say food actually cost me $700 and change that, instantly my expenses will change once I change the value in one of those columns, because it's referring to those cells in those area. Now there's another way to actually represent this, and let me talk about that real quickly. What I could do is, instead of adding the cells individually, I can just say equals, and then I can say sum, which will give me those values. You can actually click on this value right there, and it will pop up this box which will give you a whole bunch of other formulas. But at this stage, probably sum is all you really need to know. And then I push parentheses, and I can actually say C3, and if I put a colon, I can then say C5. That says all the values between C3 and C5. Another way I could actually do this is if I take my cursor, click and drag down the area I want and let go. Then I close parentheses and push enter sign, and it will actually do the same value. So that's another way to do that. Let's say I have income of, let's say $4,000 a month. And now I want to actually say, here's my surplus. I can actually come in here and I can actually say the equal sign, refer to my income, push the subtraction sign, the expenses, equals, and that's my surplus. And so notice that that's also works with when you're working on subtracting certain values. All right, well, good luck, and if you have any further questions on this, please email me or get a hold of me on how to use on reference point. Thanks.